Morning Year 6 and welcome to our maths lesson, our geometry lesson for today, Thursday. This week this will be the last maths lesson because tomorrow you have your theme day, Under the Sea. So reflections, this is the fourth in a series of 4 lessons. So preparing your book so that we can begin. So first of all, the review. Yesterday you had a look at translation. Have a think before you continue. What did translation mean? Have a go at these 3 questions. Before we reveal the answers. So here, translate this shape, 2 left, 2 squares that is, and then down 4, and draw the shape. Write the coordinates for each vertex, the vertex being the corners, but not the corners of that shape, it's the one of your translated shape, the shape that has been moved. And then describe the translation from shape A to C. So how are you going to translate that? Maybe pick a corner, it could be that one, maybe that's the one you're going to follow through. Two left, 4 down, 2 left, 4 down, yep, 2 left, and 4 down, you've got it, 2 left, 4 down. Create that shape using a ruler and a pencil. There's the coordinates. Again, remembering, I'm sure it's hard to forget now, we've been practicing all week. X, Y, X, Y. Always goes in that order. There you go. How did you do? If any of those are troubling you in any way, you're not quite following, rewind the video, have a look. If you follow it through, make notes, make your own grid. Another way of doing it, if you are printing, what you can do is cut out a rectangle that size. See, this quadrant isn't being used, so cut one out and actually physically move your copy. So let's explore today. Reflections. Looking ready for school, looking dapper, hair done, nice jumper, shiny shoes. What's changed and what's stayed the same? Have a think. Which hand is that? It's the right hand. Okay, and this is the mirror. Where's that hand now? hair. Just going in the other direction. Have a look at this picture. So we have over here is a person, and it looks like a drink with 3 straws. It's not something you'd be able to do at the moment, sharing a drink with 3 straws. Cookies. What do we notice here? Look, cookies, not cookies. When I'm thinking about this one, if you ever see an ambulance on the road, if you look on the bonnet, ambulance is written backwards. I wonder why that is. Another interesting thing to do, I think, is if you get a spoon, maybe a fairly large spoon, maybe larger than a teaspoon, tablespoon, dessert spoon, and then have a look at your reflection in the side where your food would normally go, so the sort of curved in side, the concave side, and the other side, the sort of underneath bit, the bit that when you're looking at it would be bulging out towards you, the convex side. See what you see. Here we go. What have we got here? Looks like Smarties, maybe, and the cookies. Let's have a look. Which images are reflected and which images are not? Now, just to be clear, if you don't remember, this dotted line represents the mirror. So if this chap here is looking into a mirror, would this be the reflection? Or if this chap's looking in the mirror, would this be the reflection? Okay. Have a think. Okay. So before you move on, I guess there are a couple of tips. If you're quite good at imagining movement of shapes, and some people are and some people find it more difficult. I remember I did a lot of organic chemistry and imagining 3-dimensional shapes and things rotating. You kind of get used to it, but with this is a 2-dimensional shape, and if you imagine folding that like a book along that dotted line, would they overlap? So looking at this one, if you use that technique, you fold it over, kind of doesn't look like that red straw is going to be over the red straw. It looks like that red straw is going to be over the yellow straw. So that's an abstract way of looking at it. What would be a practical way? Get a mirror. Put the mirror along the mirror line. Let's pick a different one. So here, this would be a nice visual one. Put the mirror here. So you'd be looking in the mirror in that direction, although it doesn't really matter which side you go. And when you look in the mirror, do you see that? Is that going to be reflected over there? Well, we've got a purple and a green. So I'm not so sure about that. That would be a good one to do. So when you fold those, you know, the C could be over the C, couldn't it? The O over the O. So that's looking quite promising. Get a mirror. Now for this one, the mirror, I'd say the mirror was in this direction, wouldn't you? Just because of the reversed writing there. So that would be a practical method. Let's go back, have a look at that. So that's where we were. And remember, you can get your mirror, that's fine. But if you were to fold this page together, like you were closing a book, this yellow is going to be over that red. And I think that probably explains, doesn't it? Now you watch. There we go. That's looking better because we've got yellow, blue, red. Now, also we've got this reverse. This one is angled that way. So sort of angled to the right a little bit. This is angled to the left. Angled to the left, angled to the right, angled to the left, angled to the right. If we remember the boy in the previous example, that kind of fits. There was a reversing effect in the mirror. So the mirrors reflect, but they seem to be reversing the images. So now that's okay. Yep, I think we were fairly confident of that one. And do look out for those ambulances or anything that has words on the bonnet of the vehicle that are written backwards. Why would that be? Okay, so we weren't sure that was a reflection. This is a bit of an issue, isn't it? There we go. Where, you know, I think it's fair to say that and that are fine, and that are fine, but you know, you're not going to change the color by reflecting it. That's better. So what about the last one? So what happened there? So there are a couple of points, really. One, it didn't have a mirror line. Two, if it did have a mirror line, and you do whichever technique, the abstract folding technique or getting your mirror, they're not going to overlap. So what's happened is that this plate of cookies has been orientated below, and then the dotted line represents the mirror line. Okay, so we've spent quite a bit of time on this because it does take a little bit of practice. So I've explained quite a lot, but nothing is going to substitute practice. If you have a mirror, get one and practice. But putting it on the screen, if you're able to print, you're in a very fortunate position because you can manipulate these. There we go. So now it's about shapes, and they're on the coordinate grid. We're going to reflect the triangle in the y-axis. Now remember, this is the y-axis, and the y-axis continues all of the way down, so that this is the other end of the y-axis. So there's a vertex. It's 2 away from the y-axis. So therefore, it needs to be 2 away on the other side, in the first quadrant, with each of the vertices. There we go. This one. 5 away. You need to join those points up using a pencil and a ruler. And there we go. So it's been reflected along the x-axis. Let's have a little go at this one. So here we have a quadrilateral. It's looking like it probably is a rhombus. So we're going to have to reflect four vertices this time. Join those points up with your pencil and your ruler. How did you do? Okay, read the question. We are going to reflect the triangle in the x-axis. So the x-axis is across, and the x-axis continues right across. It's the horizontal line. Other than that, the procedure, the method is the same. Join up your points. There we go. You're getting the hang of this. If not, go back, have a look, try it out on some squared paper. You could use the back of your book if you want to do some rough work as you're just getting used to this. So we go at checkpoint. See what you've understood, and are you ready to move on and have a go at some independent work. There we go. Read the question. Remember to explain your decision. That's true. So that's more than one reflection. I think with reflections, practice makes progress. So I'd like you to have a go at as many of the questions as you can today. So begin with questions 1 to 4. That's sent out as an activity on the dojo. When you've done that and you've checked your answers using the marking station, you come back to the video and we'll continue and do some more learning together before you go on and finish the questions. So here's a top tip. If you are in a privileged position of having a printer, and a printer that you're allowed to use, cut the grid out of the question and pop that in your book. Will save you drawing the coordinates. I think previously it was a good idea to draw the coordinates because the lessons were about coordinates. This is using the coordinates to help us with reflection. So it's the reflection that's the key learning here. Welcome back. I hope you got on really well with the first few questions. Let's look at this one. Reflect shape A in the line x equals 1. X equals 1. What could that be referring to? What do we know about coordinate grids? Okay. So have a think about that. You may need to go back and have a look what happened reflecting A to B. Have a think about this one. The triangle is reflected in the x-axis. What will be the coordinate of the vertex P that's marked? And it's not on a labeled coordinate grid. So for this one, you're going to have a think, what do you remember about this? This is the X and this is the Y. How might that help? Okay, so it's partly done. If you weren't quite sure, does that help? How did you do? -3, 9. So have a think about this one. Remember, this is the X and the Y. This time it's being reflected in the X-axis. As you can see, this is the vertex that you've got marked. I think it's fair to say that that section of the Explore is more demanding, and if that is the case for you, my best advice is go back, watch the video. You can turn my voice down, so you're just watching the process. Watch and pause, and watch and pause. Just work it through so you can create some meaning. You can work in your learning groups, your study groups. If you're feeling confident, have a go at the rest of the questions. Well done, Year 6. We've taken quite a little bit longer than usual to go through that, but I felt that was the right thing to do. I also could well imagine that you might be rewatching that video, and as I say, turn my voice down if you need to. I won't be offended. You can just watch the process and jot it out. If you need to use some kind of jotting or rough paper, use the back of your book. I hope you do really well, and I hope you get better at it as you practice. And until next time. Take care, Year 6.